I'm a data nerd. I love data. As a matter of fact, in my past life, when I used to work in the Amazon world, I had a VA, a virtual assistant, who I would have help me gather data manually. So I would do things like test assumptions or test statements made by Amazon, right? So I would write out the instructions for my VA and say, go to Amazon, search these keywords, and then record all of the top 10 listings that rank for this keyword. And then note things like how long the title is or whether or not they have variations, because Amazon used to say that products with variations ranked higher. Anyway, it's fun, and the conclusions were always really cool. I missed that, but doing that kind of thing manually is very time consuming. But now we don't have to. I mean, we have technology, we have AI. So I decided I wanted to test some assumptions and use AI to help me build the tooling. The assumption I wanted to test was, do AI jobs pay higher? So looking on Upwork, I decided to look on Upwork. If you search for AI agent, it basically brings up a bunch of AI agent engineer type jobs. And I wanted to compare the going rate for those jobs against a traditional marketing job like copywriting. So that's what I did. Anyway, let's see how I built a tool that gave us these numbers. All right, so first things first, because I know the AI is going to ask for it, I needed to give it the data that it would need to help me build a scraper, basically. So I went to Upwork, searched, and then once I got to the search page, I right-clicked on this portion and then inspect. And basically what I was looking to do was copy the whole element, right? So right here, this article, I right-clicked again and then copy element. And so what that did was it gave the AI, or would give the AI, the information it needed to build out a scraper for me. Anyway, so once I got that information, I started in Google AI Studio to do this work with Gemini 3. I gave it a screenshot and said, I want to build a Python script to analyze the pricing difference between two job markets on Upwork. I want to compare the job offer prices for AI agent related jobs and copywriting jobs. I was thinking perhaps we would use Playwright to scrape. I've used Puppeteer before, so that's why I'm familiar with these concepts of like what the AI would need, but I decided to go with Playwright this time. Here are the details: keyword AI agent, URL, and then I gave it the URL to the search page, and then that element that I copied, and then the copywriter URL, just so it had everything it needed. Walk me through step by step how to build this. And then it tried to do everything all at once, and I had to go, hold on. First, so you know what machine I'm using so that you give me the proper instructions. Second, I want to do this in a virtual environment, and then moving forward, I want us to do this one step at a time. And then you can continue to the next step after I've confirmed that I did what you needed me to do. And this is how I like to work with AI. So it said, all right, cool, step one, you got to create the folder and then create the virtual environment. It's really simple. Here creates the folder, here opens the folder up inside of a terminal, and then this is actually exactly how I did that. Created the folder, right-click, open in terminal, and then that opens up one of these, and then you just copy and paste and then press enter. So it said Python m ven, put that here, click, enter, and it creates a virtual environment. And then I had to activate the virtual environment. I copied this, pasted it here, enter. Now we have the virtual environment active. Next step, once I told it I'm done, the next step is to install the dependencies. Copy, paste, and here it installed everything. And then copy, paste, enter. Here it installed everything again. Real simple stuff. Anyway, once I acknowledged that everything was installed, it told me what to do in Chrome. So basically it was writing a Python script using Playwright that would open up a window in my own Chrome on my device and then run the scrape. So I had to get out of everything in Google Chrome and then run this. So this was just copy and then paste. I did that, and then boom, it opened up this window. Once I acknowledged that that had worked, then it said copy this and paste it in a file that you save as main.py, which is a Python script. This was just a test at first, right? So what this did was it took test data to make sure that the opening the browser and scraping would even work. So told me what to do, where to save it, and then how to run it. So once I saved that inside of the folder, I ran that. Let's just copy, paste, enter, and then it gave sample data. And then once that happened, I knew that the script was going to work. I knew that the technology was working. So I went back to Gemini and said, here were the results. Looks like it was working. Now to tell you what I want to do for the full test, I want to scrape 100 jobs for each keyword and then calculate the average hourly and fixed pricing. Because that's what Upwork gives you. It gives you job postings, either give you an hourly rate or a total budget. And then it said, all right, that's cool. Now we're going to rewrite the main script again for the full test. And so that's what it did. It had to add a way for it to go to the next page because the first one just took a couple samples off the very first page. So it did, and then I ran it, and then it worked. And I got a bunch of numbers. However, it didn't average it. Luckily, all the numbers were saved. All the raw data was saved inside of a file that I could open. Now, here's the thing. It gave me the raw data. All it did was give me the pricing, either fixed or hourly for each of those keywords. And I could have gone back. I absolutely could have gone back and said, hey, no, I need an average. I need median, mean, I need data. But instead, because I have already created, with the help of AI, an add-in for Excel that specifically does this. Its job is to help with Excel formulas. I just went to it and said, hey, I would like a median and mean score for type hourly and type fixed for each keyword. The reason I worded it this way is because the AI sees this whole page, so it knows what I'm talking about. And then it gave me the formulas. Anyway, so now let's look at the numbers. Okay, so for AI agent, the hourly median is 18, so this is the middle price of the price range. And then the hourly mean, which is the average, is 21, so about $21 an hour. The fixed median, so the median for the total budget, the fixed pricing is 300, and the fixed mean, the average is $922. For copywriter, the median is 19, and then the hourly average is 20.86, so $20.86. The fixed median is 150, and then the fixed mean, the fixed average is 582.89. All right, so what does this tell us? Well, the assumption was that AI jobs probably pay more. I mean, they're more in demand, even though the hype is kind of down a little bit from 2023. The assumption is that this work is more valuable to employers or small businesses that are looking for contract work on Upwork. That assumption is not entirely correct. I mean, it is. The average is definitely higher, but only by a few cents, right? Literally, you can make $21 an hour as an AI agent engineer on Upwork, or $20.86 an hour as a copywriter. So that's an interesting bit of data. What else is interesting, though, is the fixed budget pricing is significantly higher. And what that tells me, if the hourly rate is the same, then what that tells me is that the people who are hiring for AI work on Upwork are expecting it to take longer. And so I think that's probably the reason why the budget is larger. So rather than pay people more per hour for this, they're just expecting, like, copywriters, a copywriting job probably only takes a couple days, whereas to build an AI agent probably takes longer. That's my assumptions based on this data anyway. So that was fun. It only took, 10 minutes to build this. Thank you, Gemini 3.0. And hopefully that was a cool experiment and the data says something potentially useful or at least entertaining. Be well and do good things. Cheers.